Welcome back to the Deep Digger Sports Pod. I'm your host, Shrew, my other host right over there.
What's up? It's D. Good to see you again. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Drop some comments below. Let us know your thoughts.
Today we are talking Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons officially requesting a trade from the team after contract negotiations basically between his agent and the Cowboys never even really got going. So apparently Micah and the Cowboys did sit down and were talking, casually about the conversation, the contract situation, and Dallas took that as the deal's done. We solidified the deal with Micah himself. Micah wanted to bring in his agent to actually discuss the contract, but they refused to talk to the agent. So as of today, he wants a trade out of Dallas.
Yeah, he announced it himself via Twitter. A pretty long post. I would go check out his Twitter to see the full statement from himself. Honestly, we had heard rumblings. Adam Schefter a couple days ago had said that the Dallas Cowboys have not had any contact with Micah Parsons' agent, and it came directly from Micah, as he said, like, I do not want to feel like I'm getting cornered to talk about these contract negotiations and backroom deals. He goes on in that statement to say that him and Jerry Jones were having a conversation. They were supposed to have a talk around leadership, and then somehow, quote unquote, the conversation turned to, hey, let's talk about your contract. He said that after the conversation was done, he was like, hey, well, go ahead and talk to my agent about this. He said that he even approached like his agent prior to this conversation and was like, hey, I want to get this done sooner rather than later. His agent actually advised him to wait on contract talks because other pass rushers were going to get paid. Max Crosby has since got paid. TJ Watt has since got paid. Myles Garrett has since got paid. And so Micah even told him, I don't care. I want to make sure that I have this locked up long term. And so now looking at it today, Micah is saying, like, hey, because of I felt backed into a corner, because my owner is now talking about me and my history of being injured, even though I'm laying it all on the line for the Cowboys. Like, all of these things are pointing to, and the fact that they still haven't talked to my agent to this very day. I am requesting a trade. I cannot do this any longer. And it seems like everyone's kind of on board with Micah. Even like his teammates now are rallying behind him and being like, yeah, he made the right choice. It's like, yeah, I understand.
Well, it's just a ridiculous idea that a team in the NFL is going to say, okay, you have an agent, but yet we only want to negotiate with you alone. Like, this is why they have agents, and this is the normal route that almost every player goes. I know Lamar Jackson, like, he negotiated his own deal with his mom as an agent. There's like certain circumstances where players will do their own contract, but it's majority of the league has agents for this situation. And the fact that before this even came out recently, where Micah is saying his side, Jerry tried to slander Micah and be like, well, I thought we had a handshake deal. He's questioning his character of like, oh, guys, we had a deal. Me and Micah talked about it. Now he's backing up. Like, that's crazy to me also, that Jerry is doing everything wrong in this process, but he's also like tripling down at every step of the way.
And actually, you can't do a handshake deal. You can't go directly with the player. Even in the Lamar Jackson case, Lamar Jackson's mother is his representative. It's according to the CBA, you cannot do it owner to player or GM to player directly. There has to be someone that is okayed by the NFLPA to represent the player. So it would be against the CBA for Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons to have a handshake deal. That is not something that should be done according to this collective bargaining agreement. So it's wrong. And on top of that, like, if you did have this deal, let's say, for any reason, like, hey, you know what? We had a deal in place. We knew, we had an understanding with Micah that we were going to hit 40 million a year, right? Like, that's what Myles Garrett got. Hey, you know what? We decided that we are going to do 40 million a year. Okay, then why haven't you talked to the agent to this day? Since then, since you having this verbal agreement, why haven't you gone up to the agent? You should be all over that. If you did have a deal that Micah, you quote unquote feel like, hey, we had it locked up, then why haven't you talked to the agent about it? That's shady.
Yeah, that's crazy to at least reach out and be like, "Hey, we're in this ballpark of money. What do you guys think?" And then you go back and forth, and that's how it gets done. And it's crazy that there's other teams that should feel more dysfunctional, like the Browns, that were able to work out a deal with Myles Garrett, and even like the Bengals at the end of the day worked it out with Shamar Stewart, and they're rightfully were like, I feel like every team that was in this situation, the fans were a little bit split. They were kind of like, well, I get it. The player doesn't want to be there. The team doesn't want to invest in like an older guy. In this situation, it feels like 99% of the world is on Micah's side and the 1% is Jerry Jones, because it's like a guy in his prime, 26 years old, one of the best players in the league, literally like a ride or die for the Cowboys organization. And the numbers are there. Like the numbers are laid out from other guys for you to get this Micah deal done.
Yeah, 100%. Again, it's laid out there. Like, go Myles Garrett has 40, TJ Watt has 41. Just either match it with TJ Watt or go 1 mil above. It's not that hard, especially for a guy. Both Myles and TJ are on their third contract. They're older guys. They're both 30. Oh, or what is Myles, like 28? But anyways, they're both in their third contract. This is only Micah's second contract, so he should be paid a notch above them.
And
Everyone was even like,
Nick Bosa got his contract. You could just look at that one and be like, he got like
it's
100 million guaranteed. We know Micah's gonna get more than that. So like, work from there, Dal. It's not that crazy.
yeah. And even if you did, okay, let's say you did that. But you have to go against comparisons because Nick is only getting 35. There's other guys who have since got paid who are getting more. I think 40 is a good number. But, I mean, if the agent wants to go above and beyond and say, like, hey, you know what? Actually, we're younger. We're a lot younger. We have more years left. We're ride or die for Dallas. They're homegrown. Like, let's do this. Let's say 43. 43 mil, again, it's not like you're breaking the bank. Like, it's not crazy above market. That's exactly like you're a couple mil off of TJ Watt who at 41.
It's very ironic to me that Jerry Jones, since he said the quote, his hands don't get cramps writing checks, has been just about the stingiest owner giving out these contracts since that moment. The Cowboys have fought tooth and nail to the very edge of the beginning of seasons with these star players to get them paid. And now with Mike, I feel like he's just looked at the roster, looked at the team, and been like, I'm out. I don't think this is a play for him to get the contract. I think he genuinely wants to get out.
And that's what I was going to say. Let's say this was like the Myles Garrett thing. Hey, you know what? We're never going to win a Super Bowl. I hate it here. This is a losing organization. Here's 40 million a year. Okay, you know what? I'll stay. I think I don't think that's the play here. I think he's genuinely upset as far as what happened, and he's done his best to keep quiet through this whole process. He's shown up, as we talked about the last time. He's shown up to training camp. He's been at walkthroughs. He's been saying all the right things. I want to be here. I'm just waiting to get this deal done. He had even posted before that, like one of the like TikTok trends. It was like something about one of the trending sounds on TikTok, and it was like him with Jerry Jones, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just waiting for the call." Like, he's done all of these different things, and you could tell he genuinely, like, his message out announcing this trade request. I think his feelings are hurt. I don't think there's building that bridge back, and him being like, you know what, I am a Dallas Cowboy for life. I think that he is going to move on, and realistically, it's not about the money because he can go and get the money literally anywhere else.
Yeah, whoever, I already saw people kind of trying to put some trades together. I saw Falcons showing interest because they need to go all in. Here is the odds for teams that Micah could land on next. Dallas is at the top at minus 300. And then the next two teams, the Eagles and the Patriots, are plus 1,000, which there's no way ever that they would trade him to the Eagles. You got the Chargers at plus 1,500 and 49ers and the Cardinals at plus 1,600. The Jets and the Raiders at plus 2,500. When those two teams, at the Jets and the Raiders, I think really stand out to me as teams that are like, let's take a big swing. Let's get someone in here who can push our defense over the top, and maybe we compete for a playoff spot. Like, These are teams that are trying to establish their identity right now, and he brings that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And again, we talked about it last time. I think that he is a very interesting, polarizing personality when it comes to NFL, like because he is so outspoken, because he has such a good following with his social media presence, and the fact that he's one of the most important positions on the NFL field, which is an edge rusher. I think that there's going to be so many teams like making a push for this guy. Again, I think it is going to push the Dallas Cowboys to be like, hey, maybe we should just pay him, even if we have to overpay and do 45 mil a year. And even then, I think Micah would be like, you know what? No, I'm going to get that somewhere else.
This feels like a fractured relationship that I don't see why he would want to come back from. They don't have any shot at competing in a real way in the playoffs. He can go somewhere and they're going to roll out the red carpet anywhere he goes. Like, he's going to be the guy. And maybe he goes to a team in a better spot to compete.
Yeah, I mean, we had talked about at the end of last season. This Dallas Cowboys roster is in cap hell. I mean, it's Jerry Jones' fault that they have been tied to Dak Prescott, and they played their hand the wrong way. They played into the leverage of the player, which they are doing again here with Micah, and they've tied themselves to Dak Prescott. They've tied themselves to not Stephon Diggs, Trayvon Diggs. And did you see Stephon Diggs, by the way? He's a menace. He commented under Cardi B's picture on Instagram, and he was like, sniffs BBL. And people were like, what, this guy's a menace. Anyways, they've tied themselves to those two players, and they haven't built out the rest of the roster. And I just don't think that this Dallas Cowboys team is going to be one that competes in the NFC when you have up-and-coming teams and teams that have been there for a long time, even within their own division. So it's going to be tough. If I was him, I would be like, hey, the Myles Garrett route, we're not winning anyways. I'm out of here.
And the thing I don't want to hear all season, at least in the first half, is but they got George Pickens. Like, this is their move. If George Pickens was a real reason that a team goes from playoff maybe to legit contender, the Steelers would have had him on the roster right now to pair with DK Metcalf.
100%, yeah.
If he was any worth putting your team over the top, he would be a Steeler. But he's not. Getting an extra receiver does not make you a playoff team that has a chance at Super Bowl. Like, they need so much more, and they didn't do really anything compelling in the offseason. They have no run game. The defense is not that good, and they don't want to pay their best player. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I think, again, it goes to the mismanagement of the Dallas Cowboys. They have everything. They have the brand recognition. They are in Texas, which famously you don't have the state income tax. You have all these things going for you, and you still can't put together a good competing roster. You can't get over the hump and make a deep playoff push. You can't do these things. The one constant that has been for the Dallas Cowboys has been Jerry Jones, and I think it's time to put him out to pasture and be like, hey, you are no longer involved in this organization. Like, if I'm Steven, I'm taking over, and I'm telling him, Dad, you can't negotiate these contracts anymore. You can't. It's hurting us as an organization. You can't be the face of the franchise anymore because it's hurting us as an organization. Someone has to have that talk with Jerry. It's well past time.